the first, I guess, overall business approach that I want to get into. For myself, I've kind of been on both sides of both scarcity mindset of running my business as well as being too abundant minded. Now, you can be too abundant minded. When I was scarcity minded, at least with my money, I was charging $16. I was saving a decent amount. I mean, I was making $2K or $3K per month, but I was saving a good portion of that to where I was like having like 20, 30K saved up at that point in time. But I was super protective over it to the point where, again, I didn't put money in the bank. And again, it's so stupid to say now because, again, the FDIC insures every person who has a bank account up to $250,000. So it's almost dumb to have no money in the bank and have it in cash because what the fuck is that point? Especially for 20 or 30K. It's much better well suited inside of the bank. I've been on that side where I'm almost penny pinching and hoarding my money, right? And being too scared to make investments or make changes with my money. Very scarcity mindset, holding on to it. Like, oh, I got to hold on to this because what if it does? Oh man, I got to get a bigger war chest, right? And I've also been too abundant. Now, what I mean by too abundant is, yes, I was charging upwards of like 100, 150 a cut. But there were months where I was making 18K a month and also spending $18,000 in a single month. Now, this is when you get a little bit too loose because for me, I was too hard jammed on save, keep. I noticed the big shift for me was like, I need to start spending a little bit more money and like, whether it be investment wise, whether it be myself, because that also incentivizes me to want to make more money. And the really biggest point of this and the biggest business approach is that raising prices will never fix poor spending habits. And being scarcity mindset won't allow you to grow the business either, right? So for my mindset overall, I thought in order to make more money, I gotta raise my prices up. But when that happened, I got out of this like scarcity mindset. I was like, I gotta think abundantly. I gotta think more abundance in life in general and shit like that. I gotta start spending more money. And it got too out of hand. I took it too extreme, right? To where I was breaking even every month. And then I looked at it like, well, why am I working this hard and not keeping enough money? But I also never would have been able to grow the business staying in that scarcity mindset because I just would have never paid for anything. I would have never taken risk on anything. I would have just kept on hoarding money. And I also would have never taken a risk in the business to start pushing the damn thing forward, right? Again, in business, you have to take risks to start scaling. You can't just stay safe and expect the business to grow. How do you expect any growth in a business to happen by just hoarding and keeping money all the damn time? Do you need a savings and do you need some cash on hand? Absolutely. But that cash is also a tool for you to utilize to then build more skill sets and develop and grow your business. Now, for me, again, too, I was just so stuck on like either or that it took me a while to find that you need a happy medium of both, right? My main rule of this especially is like, look, if you don't track anything at all, like you legit do not know inflow and outflow of cash every single month and don't take care of this every single day, which you should. It's probably easiest to just do this every single day and reconcile the accounts. Simple Google tracking sheet, look at your bank account, go over what went out, what went in every single day. It's only gonna be like a couple of transactions, hopefully every day. And that you're not dealing with a multiple of like a whole month's worth of transactions. It's so much more manageable and you keep track of everything. And you also know top mind, top awareness every single day, what's going on in terms of your bank account. And you can start making better decisions. But also at the other spectrum, when I started scaling the business, because I noticed, okay, I got to get a little bit looser with my spending. I got to go ahead and like spend money on myself, invest in myself. I stopped looking at the damn bank account. I was like, and it's very easy as a barber because you don't have to look at the bank account. You're like, oh, I'm going to make more money today. I'm going to make more money today. Everybody knows it. You get money every single day. But you need to have the happy medium in order to successfully grow the business. Because if you don't, you will quickly find out, like I did, you will look at the bank account one day and be like, oh, fuck, last month I spent $18,000, right? It maybe like 40 to 60 is when I really started getting loose. It was like when I really started investing in my business, like try to invest into a product line, try to invest in like different brand thing, try to invest in terms of like website stuff, which again too is like complete waste of time and money. Investing into like people hiring out for like running my YouTube channel as well too at the time, which again too was waste of money. You know, quickly I noticed myself starting investing, but I stopped tracking of like what was actually going on. And I stopped keeping a thumb hold on like, I actually know what's going on. And instead of like, I'm just going to make it back. But again, too, when you don't really come from having a hell of a lot of money or knowing how to work with money or knowing how to handle money, you go one of two ways. You get too stronghold on this thing, and where you just have no incentive, like you're just like scared and scarcity mindset all the time. Like, oh my God, what if I lose it? What if I lose it? What if I lose it? Then you kind of need to loosen up on your balls a little bit, right? And then we got the two loosey-goosey guys and who are over here, who again, who was like myself, charging like 60, 100, 150 bucks at the time. They're not charging that, but then the mindset of where I was like just throwing money. I'm like, it's going to come back. I don't know if I'm going to make it, right? And you need a happy medium. The happy medium is, again, too, you have to be able to like look at this every single day, but don't let it control your life, but understand what moves can I make? And also take those risks, because nothing in business or in life happens without risk. Understand where you're at in the spectrum. If you're already taking too many risks, what the fuck back, right? I wish I would have been like, hey dude, start tracking this a little, get a little bit more serious about this thing, all right? Tighten the fuck up. If you're too far on this side in terms of the serious mindset, loosen the fuck up a little bit. Let your shoulders hang. Let your nuts drop a little bit, all right? You'll be all right. Business approach number 2 is it's always going to be client acquisition trumps client retention every single day. Because how are you supposed to grow a business retaining the same clients and not focusing on how can you get new clients into the business, right? So again, too, for me, the biggest thing, when I was charging 16 bucks, all the way when I was charging 150, maybe only 2 or 3 clients still stayed with me. That means my whole clientele was of completely different people from when I was at 16 bucks to 150. There is no way in hell that, like, if I just focus on client retention, I would ever get to this 150, be cutting only 2 or 3 clients a month. You would just be out of your goddamn mind, right? So I think for myself, when I finally started realizing, again, too, it's about the client acquisition. How can I get more clients in the business? How can I scale this up? When I started focusing on that as the input, became obsessive about that, that's when I started seeing the uptick in the growth, because that was the lifeblood that refilled the business up. Right? Every time I went up on prices, now I got to refill the business back up again with the right people, and then that allowed me to scale. Again, how we're able to take guys like Joel, who went from 6K a month to 29K a month in 8 months. You don't do that by retaining clients. You don't go from charging 60 to 200 in 8 months, focusing on client retention. You do that by focusing on client acquisition at a very high rate. Because again, too, even for most barbers, what happens in their client acquisition, meaning like how to get new clients, is when they raise prices up, their client acquisition or the new client flow drops down. This gap that's being created creates space and time between the next time you can jump up on your pricing, because you got to fill the business back up again with the right people. Make sure the business is healthy, can take another scale jump. If it can't, you got to wait. And this is why a lot of barbers, yes, can you raise prices? Absolutely. You can go from 40 to 60, but guess what? You're probably going to stay there for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. Until you can probably go up from 60 to maybe 75. Is that really worth it? When we're getting guys from 60 to 200 in 8 months, guys from 25 to 75 in 90 days, 50 to 100 in 5 months, right? In all different locations across the US and outside the US as well too. Client retention, just be a decent barber. Like, give them a decent service. Give them a good service, right? Make sure you can cut hair. Make sure you're not going to fuck anything up. Make sure you're standard. These are all standards. Yet for some reason, the barber industry, this seems to be like what everybody tries to preach at barber shows. I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever. This should be like a standard. Why is this not the standard? This is like how you bare minimum should run a business. Why is everybody preaching like this is the God's rule thing? Like this is some unanswered, like unsolved quiz, right? This is the thing. This is the standard. This is how you run a business. Now, how do you scale it? We have a guy in the program named Malachi. He legit got, 33 new clients this month? In new business, he added $2,000 in revenue. $2,000 extra dollars in income off of new clients. What is getting like? You want to do that in recurring clients? You're just gonna have to cut more heads in new clients, right? New business that can allow him to scale beyond that point. So with that, make sure you go ahead and share it. Make sure you tag me on social media, and then till next time, see you guys.